Welcome into the End of the Money podcast for KeenelandSelect.com for Memorial Day. And there are several stakes races around the country we're going to take a look at. Tom Leach here, along with Keeneland's Director of Mutuals and Simulcasting, Jim Goodman. We'll start in race 3 at Belmont Park. It's the Commentator Stakes. These are matching stakes for the boys and the girls. First one's for the boys. It's at a mile, New York breds. And, Jim, who did you like in the Commentator?
Well, there's a real good chance Rudy Rodriguez may win this race. He does pretty well in New York anyway. He's got 3 in here. He's winning at a 23% clip. So it was just a matter of me of picking the better Rudy horse. And I went with Sue, the 6 horse, 3 for 4th of distance, 3 for 8 at Belmont. Don't like that Irad Ortiz gets off and goes with Royal Posse, but his brother gets Sue, so that's not too bad a shift. Rudy could be 1-2 in here. Royal Posse is always in the 90 buyers, but only 1 for 9 at distance, and that's why I went with Sue, who's 3 for 4 at distance. So I think those 2 are the top 2 picks in here fairly easily. I think Royal Posse needs a little more distance, so may not get there in time, but I think he's got a shot as well. Weekend Hideaway, the 7 horse for Phil Serpy, won at Belmont. Nice prep race on April 29th, and 1 going away in a $100,000 stakes race. So it's pretty much moving up to a $200,000, still ungraded, but I think he's got a shot. Can track the speed from the outside, really drew well, but may have a hard time with the Ortiz brothers teaming up on the Rodriguez horses, beating both of them, but I would put him in my trifecta as well. But Sue, the 6, is my top pick in the Commentator.
Yeah, I like the same ones you did. Sue is my pick as well for the reasons you mentioned about the track and the distance. Also, I like horse turning back from a mile on the 16th to a flat mile race here. Royal Posse, Drama King, I think the other one from the Rodriguez barn I like, and Osterlinka, the 3 for Fletcher a little bit. But the win pick for 6, Sue, and key him in the exactas with those others. The 4th race at Belmont on Memorial Day is the Critical Eye Stakes at a mile for Phillies and Bears, 3 and up. I like Bar of Gold in here. I've liked this filly before. She's run some nice races. I think this is a softer spot than she's seen in a while, and that ought to serve her well in this spot. She's working well. So I think there's a lot to like here about Bar of Gold. Inside post is maybe the only concern, but I'm going to take Bar of Gold, the 1. She's got the speed to overcome that post. Use her with Have You Gone Away, the 4, the 8, Storied Lady, the 9, Literata. How about you?
Well, you left off my pick. I was between 2 horses. One of them was Bar of Gold, simply because she's run against some really nice horses, got beat by Cavorting and Paula's Silver Lining last time out. And then the Raven Run only lost by half length to Sarah Sis and lost before that to Cavorting. So there's no Cavorting here, so I think Bar of Gold is a solid choice here. But the other horse that I got off on and really kind of like as well as Bar of Gold is Kazan, the 5. For Franco. Trainer is a little bit unknown, but he's actually 6 for 22 this year. So Robert Ribato and Kazan showed good tracking speed last time out on a sloppy track at Gulfstream. What I like about her is she's coming back to Belmont where she's 3 for 3. And first 2 races last year, as a 3-year-old, she just dominated a couple of a maiden field and jumped right into $250,000 stakes race and won by 5. Now, she had some trouble after that. And she's been off for a little while, but she came back in March and ran a nice prep race at Gulfstream. So I'm going to go with Kazan, the 5 horse here, over Bar of Gold, the 1. I could also use in a trifecta Perfect Freud, the 2, the 1 horse that she lists in Literata on the outside, who's 2 for 7 at Belmont for Rudy Rodriguez. And Have You Gone Away, the 4, 3 for 3 at distance, but it was a long time ago. She's been a sprinter lately, so don't know if she'll get back to a mile here right away, but she is 3 for 3 at the distance. I just hadn't been able to get her a mile. But I'm going to pick Kazan over Bar of Gold.
Let's move to Lone Star Park. The Lone Star Handicap is a grade 3 for 3-year-olds and up at a mile on the 16th. This is usually a pretty interesting little race because it'll attract some shippers, and they did here. Who did you like at the Lone Star Handicap?
Well, I like the shippers. I like the horse that's got the best record at Lone Star, the best race at Lone Star last time. I Shotgun Cowboy, but I just couldn't go with a trainer who's only had 2 races this year. So Shotgun Cowboy, I think, has a shot, the 1 horse. But I went with Cyrus Alexander. Jerry Hollendorfer has a habit of shipping in these horses from the West Coast to the Midwest and taking the money. Martin Garcia comes in to ride on Cyrus Alexander, and coming off a 98 buyer at a mile at Santa Anita, stretching out to a mile and 16th. Has not been the Lone Star, has not really been out of California, so that's a question mark, but has a lot of speed and should be able to track whoever is going to get the lead here, probably Shotgun Cowboy. Cyrus Alexander is my pick for 3, but I would also use Shotgun Cowboy the 1. Rocket Time the 2 comes off a win at Churchill, a $100,000 race back on Derby Day, so Al Stahl ships him down here. So you're right, your horse is shipping in that don't have a record at Lone Star. And then the other horse that I would use would be Super Mason, who does have a record at Lone Star, is 3 for 6, including a win in the Premier, a $50,000 stakes race back on April 7th. When he ran a 99 buyer and followed that up on a turf with an 87 and a 2 3/4 length lead. So I would use Super Mason underneath, but I would probably play 3 with 1, 2, 5 with all.
Same for me. I like the 3 Cyrus Alexander for Hollendorfer. I like that 98 buyer last time, and I think this is probably a softer spot than he's seen for a while. So Hollendorfer can be really dangerous when he ships in, as you said, and I like Cyrus Alexander here unless the price gets too low. And the 2 that I would use with him are the 2 Rocket Time and the 1 Shotgun Cowboy. I almost went to Rocket Time. I think that one really intrigues me. So certainly would use at least those 2 if you're making horizontal plays down at Lone Star. The 6th race at Golden Gate on Monday is the Grade 3 All-American at a mile, where 3-year-olds it up on the main synthetic track there. And you got a lot of Hollendorfers in here. I had to go to Gigi Ryder, the 7, coming off a 96 buyer, 6 wins on this track, 3 out of 5 at the 1 mile distance. But this was a fairly wide open race, I thought. The other ones I used with Gigi Ryder in here, the 10 outside Nashville, the 4 Southern Freedom, the 5 Living the Life, King Gigi Ryder and Exactas with all of those. But you want to spread probably as far as you can if you're playing multi-race wagers, including this one. What about you?
Yeah, when I handicapped this one last night, it's an all for me. If I were playing a pick 4 at Golden Gate, I can't really toss anything in here. But I stuck on the same horse you got, Gigi Ryder. So we're either going to have a good day on Monday or a really terrible day.
That's right.
Gigi Ryder, for the same reasons, 3 for 5 distance. Jerry Hollendorfer, 6 for 13 on synthetic, 6 for 11 at Golden Gate. All the stats look like he really likes this track, and the synthetic, of course, is almost an island out there now, and so they're really focusing on getting this horse back to Golden Gate as much as possible. I like the outside Nashville, the 10, but I could use Living the Life, the 5, who competed recently in the Grade 1 Santa Margarita, 8 for 17 lifetime on synthetic. Star Student, the 3, Eagle Screams, the 8. I could even go to Blue Tone, the 11, with Bob Hess, even though he hasn't been at Golden Gate. 4 for 7 on synthetics at Del Mar when they were still polytrack. So I can make a case for a lot in here. If I were going multi-leg wagers, I would use at least 6 or 7 horses. But Gigi Ryder, if you made me pick a horse, I would take Gigi Ryder, the 7.
Finally, we'll go to Santa Anita's 8th race on Monday. It's the Grade 1 Gamely Handicap, and I do have a real strong opinion in this race, and it's Wakila, the 6. This horse I remember hearing from more than one person that Chad Brown stable really loved this European shipper, and she went out, and this is for fillies and bears going on the turf here, 3 and up, and she went out last time at Keeneland and didn't run a bad second to Tepton, beaten 5 lengths, but ran a real solid race, was finishing strong in the stretch, and now Castellano ships out to Ryder. So I think this is one that we'll be hearing a lot from this year, and I think she picks up her Grade 1 here in the game lead. Number 6, Wakila, the ones I'd use with her. Nancy from Nairobi, the 1, the 4, Fantacola, but I like the 6, Wakila, a lot. How about you?
Yeah, I like Wakila here as well. I thought that race that she ran at Keeneland, the first time in North America, there's no disgrace in losing to Teppan. Everybody else loses to Teppan as well. She also had an awkward start, so she gets Castellano. Gary Stevens is riding her at Keeneland, so that's a little bit of a trade up now. Castellano's one of the best jockeys in the country. So Wakila will be my pick here, but I'm not so convinced that she's a single simply because Illuminant has a home court advantage on her. And Illuminant only ran a length and a half behind her at Keeneland and Jenny Wiley, and was kind of wide. Flavian Pratt went there to ride her, and he comes back to ride her here, and he's got a home court advantage at Santa Anita as well. Castellano doesn't ride that much at Santa Anita. So I'm going to give Illuminant a shot here simply because they were not that far apart in Jenny Wiley. You might get a better price on Illuminant. So I would, if I were going multi-leg wagers, I would not single Wakila. I would use her on top, but I would not single her. I would use Illuminant as well with Nancy from Nairobi underneath in the try. And Fantacola, who only lost this race by a neck a year ago, and almost is always in the exacta at Santa Anita. That might be a good play for you. Put Fantacola up and down in the exacta because she's hardly ever out of it. She's ran 12 times at Santa Anita, 6 times in the exacta, and 5 times third. So she's always there, and Joe Talamo takes her back. So I think she's got a good shot getting the money as well. But Wakila would be my shaky choice, Illuminant my second choice.
Keep the Keeneland Select account fully funded because you'll be at pool or grilling out on Monday, and you'll have a chance to play some of these races we've talked about and some others. Best of luck on your Memorial Day handicapping. For Jim Goodman, I'm Tom Leach, and that's the In the Money podcast for KeenelandSelect.com.